totally different. Like I remember so clearly last December how much different my life is now, like this December. So I think it just goes like to show what can happen in the year.
Awesome. I love it. Okay, guys, start asking your questions. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll start. Emily, I hear you talk a lot about your husband and how supportive he is. So my question's kind of twofold. The first part is, when did that shift kind of happen where he started seeing it not just as like your like business, but like your guys' business together? And then what specifically does he actually do for you? Because I definitely, like, my husband wants to get more involved. I'm a little bit of a control freak on what I'll actually like relinquish control on, but I'm curious what it is that Dylan does to help you with the business.
That's a good question. So I would say it was probably like end of last year, this year, that he really started like helping a lot. And I think what happened was, because I never really asked him for help, but what I think he saw was like the Success Club numbers and like the recruitment and the paychecks, and was like, how is she doing this by herself? And then he saw like how overwhelmed I was. And so I didn't really have to ask him. I almost like just showed him, and then he was like, let me help. And so I would say it was this year that he's like, let's do this. Like he always saw the possibility. He was never not supportive, to be honest. Like he just always he saw the potential in me. And so that's why he was hard on me. He's like, you want this to be a job, treat it as a job, but don't call it a job if it's a hobby. And I was like, the tough love I needed for 4 years. And so what he does now is he does a lot of the back office stuff for me, because it like stresses me out looking at the back office and like, looking at if someone's going to drop rank or whatever. And so he does like weekly reports for like my whole team, and he'll reach out to them personally himself, which is really nice, because sometimes I feel like it's almost like you need to hear from someone else besides your coach or your mom, and so they like love hearing from him. And so he'll do that. And then he also recently took up making my leaderboards for me. And I know that sounds so funny, but he has gotten really good at Canva. And so what we do I guess I can show you all really quick. I have like a million things open, I'm sure. I'll share my screen. What he makes for me. Hey, sis. Okay. Okay, sorry guys. So he makes these. And so he updates these every Thursday, and he will, it's like current rank only. And so like, these are the current diamonds. So if you drop this week, then you're not going to be on here next week kind of thing. And then these are like the girls, I personally sponsored that are in star qualification. And then everyone that's at Success Club so far. So for that week, and what their number is. We used to put everyone on here, but it works better just to put Success Club, we think. It like motivates people to want to get up there. And so I used to just do this monthly, but then I'm like, I know I'm motivated by week and day, so I don't want someone just to work the last day of the month to get on here for next month. So anyway, so he makes these, which is so helpful. And that way I don't even have to look at the back office on Thursdays, really, he does it all. And then the girls would love it. But so yeah, I would say he does like back office audits, my images, and then another thing he does is, the last day, well, not the last day, but like the last week of the month, he'll go through and look at everyone that's like at 4 Success Club points. And then he'll text me or whatever, wherever he's at, and send me all the names. So then I can text all of them and be like, hey girl, you're so close. And then he'll also text me people like don't have their PV, like if they have Success Club, but it says they're not qualified. So that way I can keep up on that as well. And then he'll just text me their names. I hope that helps. I know his graphics at the beginning, I was like, oh, it's good, babe. But I'm like, even Ashley's like, how did you make that graphic, Emily? I'm like, I didn't. So he's gotten good.
Okay, I have a question, Emily.
Yeah. Hi.
So when you're pushing for 15 star, and like when you're pushing for like a big goal in general, how do you like make it exciting for your team and like make it a team effort? and not like, for me, like I feel guilty like asking them to do it, like asking to push for top 10 or like asking to push for 15 star because oh my gosh, Miss Goose.
Yeah.
She's but I don't know, like how do you like make it like exciting for your team, and like how do you have it come across as like this is a team effort and them like really buy into it?
Yeah, I get that question a lot. So I feel like for top 10, I feel like top 10 is weird because I remember the first year my coach was a top 10. I was like, well, what this, like, not to sound weird, but I'm like, what does this do for me? You know, like, this doesn't, that's your name. Cool. So like, I know how it feels on the other side to have like a top 10 coach pushing for that. So I kind of just let top 10 just kind of happen naturally and stayed away from talking about top 10 and just talked about the importance of Success Club and the importance of like getting to Star Diamond and, you know, getting my coaches started right to getting those first points right off the bat to, you know, get that PS plus 1 point, you know, category. So I never really talk about top 10, if I'm being honest. Like I did better at the beginning of the year, but I would like go live every time we got the reports and just be like, oh my gosh, you guys were like number 3. That's so exciting. But I would, I don't need that, but I would never be like pushy about it. So, like, I guess, but I let them know what a big deal it was. And I would like kind of almost like maybe a few times be like, you hitting Success Club helps our team solidify this. But I'd never be like, here's what you need to do. I would say everything you need to do, but not put top 10 on it, if that makes sense. And then it just kind of happened naturally. And then as far as Superstar, I feel like that was something, is that really loud in the back? He's cleaning out the fridge. For Superstar, I had to put the name on it just because like people like they know what that is and it's exciting. But I think what like made it exciting for people was the fact that I, you know, always shared like how many Superstar teams there was and like how little there were. And then like I also made the trip and like, you know, that they could earn. And I said, we're not going to do the trip unless we hit Superstar kind of thing. Cause like it was a super expensive trip. Like I needed the bonus to go on the trip kind of thing. And so they knew that. And it was, what was really cool is they just all pushed together. So they knew that if like Kelsey didn't get her last coach and they didn't help Kelsey get her last coach, then Kelsey, you know, none of them were going on the trip kind of thing. So like they worked together and like we have a group chat and I didn't have to really do anything in it because they just worked off of each other. But one thing I did was, that helped visually because this was only for my personally sponsored was I made in Canva. I would add the faces every week of the people that like earned it. So then I don't even know where it's at, or else I'd show y'all. But I would leave like the empty spots with like a diamond in there so that they knew that we still had 3 more people to get, you know, to LA or whatever. And I feel like that helped too. Like I would update that image every Thursday. I had a countdown in my team page daily. So in my personally sponsored team page. So I'd be like, because we did it, we pushed for Superstar with like, I think there was like 25 days or something because we wanted to get it by Summit. So I started at like 25 or whatever. And I would post 25 one day, 24, 23. And then on every single thing, I'd say, what did you do today to get closer? So it wasn't like, hey, who's close? I wanted to know specifically how many invites they sent, who did they talk to, you know, where they're at. And so it was more of like a call to action and not just say, you know, speak like what you did. I want to see what you did kind of thing. And you see like so many people at the beginning, like commenting, and then towards the end, you see people dwindle off, but that's normal. Like, yeah. Cassidy asked a question in here. How early did you plan the trip and start pushing? Like I said, I think it was like 20, 25 days that I think I had 6 diamonds at that point. And so I was like, well, let's do this. Like, and so then just said, we have 3 weeks to get this done. And added the image and did the countdown every day. And they loved that. And, oh, she asked if I already had diamonds. Yeah. So I only had 6 at the time. And then I think we ended with 20 or something. 20 diamonds. So it was pretty awesome, you know, and people, I'm going to be completely honest, like people dropped after and no one canceled, thank goodness, but like there's people that weren't like as in as they were before, but for the most part we're still pretty solid. So
okay, I'm going to ask a question. So out of 350,000 plus coaches, you are number one in the network in the SC1 category.
mm-hmm.
How? What are you doing? How do you get these people to hit SC their first month, or sell one challenge pack their first month?
Okay, so I always like do my get started right calls. I have them, it's consistent, so they're the first Monday of every month, and then I have a push to emerald the first Tuesday every month, so they know that they have those, and so that's how I recruit, is to get them on those calls, like like that's my timeline of recruiting. And so Ashley and I host them together, and on these calls we like really push Success Club and how important it is to like get that first person, and we're going to celebrate you and all of that. But I think what did it this year was, I'm like a real believer in getting your spouse to sign up with you. And we all know the best deal is challenge pack, completion pack, whatever. And so I break it down for them. They're not going to pay the fee. They're going to get their first 2 Success Club points on the board. And how else they're going to get commission like 40, $50. And then it ends up being like, I don't know, I'm really bad at math, so don't, like $80, $90 for a challenge pack, And so I already say, like, if you've been wanting to try the performance line, perfect. Get the, on your spouse's account, have them sign up with the opposite or whatever. And I think that's what kind of did it for me this year, was just sharing the importance of Success Club. Like, I don't, in my like welcome letter, like I don't really talk about anything else but Success Club right away. Cause I know that's what Ashley instilled in me in the very beginning. That was really important. And that's what has never left my head, like how important Success Club is. So I want that to be the first thing that they hear from me too, so that they know. And I also like talk about their free ticket to Summit, because, I earned that and how big that was for me. And yeah, so. And I just feel like rooting them along, like rooting for them. And I don't know, I just always, the spouse thing, and then also just sharing how important it is right away, like day one.
Hey, Emily, I have a question. What do you guys do, or you like to do, for people interested in coaching? Are you throwing into a sneak peek? Are you sending them a little video about coaching? What's your favorite?
So I do sneak peeks. I was a lot better at the beginning of the year when my life wasn't so crazy. But I think I was talking to Sydney at the beginning of the year. I was like, I'm scared to do them monthly. Like, what if I don't get anyone new and all of that? And she was like, Emily, just do it. Like, you just have to. And she was right. Like, it worked. I was getting new people, and I surprised myself. So I was doing the sneak peeks monthly. I think now they're like every other month. And then I just try new things, because the sneak peeks work, but like it wasn't anything like towards the end of the year, things slow down. So that's when, I don't know if you follow me, but I did the 27 for 27 in October. And what was so crazy about that was every single person that signed up wanted to work, wants to work the business, versus like people that joined boot camp, like a quarter of them, or people that are in my sneak peek, like, I don't know, I probably get like 10 out of a sneak peek. But with the 27, it just seemed, I would update that image every single day on my story. And I think we ended with 47. And those are all people that like want it. And so I don't feel bad, pushing them or texting them and like, not bugging them, but you know what I mean? So I just have been trying new things, and, obviously you don't want to reinvent the wheel, like what works, but I know for me, I was like, let's do a personal mentorship. And because a lot of people can look at coaches in the network and think like, oh, they have too many people, I'll just be a number. Mm-hmm. And so what I did with those 27 is, we ended up with like 47. I cut the number in half, like the group in half, and did 2 different text strands. So not like Facebook. I think text is way more intimate. And we text like almost every day. So I'll be like, team call, or get started right call, get your people on, or, who got their T20, that kind of thing. And they just love that. It feels more personable to them. And then like a girl hits emerald. Well, now everyone else in the group wants to hit emerald, because they all signed up at the same time. So
thank you. That's awesome.
The 20, Teresa said, what is your 27? I just literally, came up with it one day, and I just made an image and 1 through 27, threw it up on my story. And I said, I'm looking to coach. Because I was turning 27 in October. And so I was like, I want to help 27 people find what I have found with this business. And so it's going to be one-on-one mentorship with me as your coach. And I didn't do anything crazy different besides add them to that text string. Like I put them through the university that I put all my other coaches through. It just feels a little bit more intimate. People want that. Even if it was like 5. So I think I'll do it again in January. I don't know. I haven't decided. But I don't think I've ever recruited that many working coaches in 1 month. Like I've recruited a lot of coaches, but never that many working. So sorry.
I have a good question. So I noticed like on your social media, I feel like both you and Ashley, obviously you hit crazy high success numbers, but I don't really feel like you post a ton about like sweaty selfies and, like your guys' feeds don't have a ton of like your workouts every single day. It's more like lifestyle. Do you have like a strategy kind of on how you approach that, or what's your...
I've always felt, it's so funny that you say that, because I felt like in the beginning of coaching, I thought that's what coaching had to be was, obviously you want to show up every day, but like a sweaty selfie every day and a workout every day and talk about coaching all the time. But I have found because I have a form that people fill out when they want to join my group. And I always ask, why do you want to work with me? And every single time it's, I relate to you. I relate to you, or, your infertility, or I have the same dog as you, or, you seem down to earth. Like those are the things that people say. And so that's what I try to focus on posting. Like, how will I make someone relate to me? Because sorry, but people aren't going to relate to me on a fitness level if they've never done fitness before. So I always think like before I post, how can I make this relatable? How can I change someone's day, or how can I make them laugh? And that's how I go about posting. And then also, we all know it's important to be a product of the product. So I try to throw out my transformation as much as possible. Obviously, it's a little hard right now because there's not much change happening. But I've noticed that whenever I'm feeling, this is another example, whenever I'm feeling a certain way, I will post about it. People will be like, how do you come up with things to post? Because I'm like, that's honestly how I'm feeling in that moment. And that's what Ashley's taught me, especially with pregnancy. There's so many times that I'm like, or I just really want advice, or I really want to know what to put in my registry. Engagement, is how you get more followers and all that. So I always ask questions, and I always look for advice and share exactly how I'm feeling in the moment, because that is what people are going to relate to you on. And that is why people are going to join you over someone else, is what I found, at least.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So along those lines, since you're so good at asking questions and stuff in your stories, because I'm a stalker, how do you keep up with people who reply? How much time are you spending in your inbox?
Well, I don't a lot go to my message requests, and honestly, I don't reply to all those because it's a lot of really stupid questions. But I try, before I go to bed, I will probably do a solid 30 minutes to an hour on my story inbox. And just yesterday, there were some people that are interested in T20. So I just made a link to my jot form, because it was just getting overwhelming, trying to keep up with those people. And then, if you have flume or whatever, it's so much slower than anything else we use. So I just had my jot form, hey girl, fill this out. Let me know when you do, and I'll make sure I got it. And I just copied and pasted that to everyone. But if it's little questions, I'll go through and answer. My husband was giving me a hard time the other day because I didn't answer some girl's question about where I got my shirt. He's like, that's what people it means a lot that you respond to them. So I've actually had him help in my inbox as well, just on Instagram, if it's just because he actually has my Instagram logged in on his phone because he's always looking at stuff. And so he'll be like, where'd you get that shirt? And he'll reply or whatever. But I'm not going to say I'm the best about replying to every single person. If it's a business question, yeah. But I've also noticed, though, when I do reply to the person that asks me where I got my shirt, a lot of times it's oh my gosh, thank you for replying. I have been interested in, so I need to get better about it, just because maybe that's their window to talking to me and I'm not realizing it. But I don't think that there's any right way to do it. And I really try to go to bed every single night. It is a goal of mine every single night to go to bed with an empty inbox, because I want people to know that I will respond to them for boot camps or business. And I always show it. You guys, if you follow me, you see I usually show it on my stories that my inbox is empty, so that they can see that consistency and see that like I'm serious about what I do and that I respond.
Hi, Emily. I'm Kiana. I have a question real quick. I know that you, if I'm right in the very beginning, I remember you've talked about this before at like a training somewhere. But I know you didn't have like a ton of followers in the beginning, and I know like you built your Instagram pretty awesome yourself, and you worked really hard at that. So what advice do you give, or what would you say you tell like a new coach that doesn't have a big following, or just someone that's like nervous that I know that technical answer is go out there and find people, but what do you tell them to do that you find that worked for you when you were building, when you didn't feel like you would make an Instagram story and 10 people are watching? Do you know what I mean?
What I actually do often is in my team page, I will like find old posts that I did that I got like 2 likes, or, you know, like you said, old stories or whatever, because I have a lot of stuff saved on my phone. And I will post it in my team page and like usually write like something about, you know, because they can look at us leaders and say, well, of course that it worked for you. You know, you've always had this, but they don't realize that we haven't. So I will remind my team often of where I started and those 2 likes and how sucky my posts were year 1. And I try to do that as much as possible because I want them to know that like I started where they did too. But as far as like growing my Instagram, one, it's kind of what I talked about like being relatable, being consistent. I try to post every single day, no matter what, whether I'm feeling like it or not. And then my transformation, I've noticed has grown my Instagram as well. So that's why I feel like my team is really good about getting results, because they've seen that's done for my business. And we have this thing every Sunday that my team does, is every Sunday we post our transformation on social media every Sunday night at 8:00 Central. And so it's just, you know, because that's when I feel like most people are online. And so that's added consistency and helps them want to get results, because they're going to have to show their face and their results so far. So that has really helped as well. And then I also will do, because we all know we have some of those coaches that their Instagram just drives us crazy, because it's like, no, that's not what you need to post. So I do an Instagram, oh my God, what is it called? Like sweep maybe. And so I'll say, if you want Instagram feedback, post a screenshot of your Instagram. I'll do it in the team page below, and I will give you feedback. And it takes me forever, but it's worth it to like help people that are posting their shake every day, you know, because you never want to come out and tell someone like out of the blue, like, hey, your Instagram needs help. But if they ask for help, then I always tell them, like, it's going to probably be tough love, but please take what I say.
And you're just brutally honest. Like, this is what I would do instead of this, like, mix it up, that type of stuff.
I mean, I always like compliment something. I'm like, this is so great, you know, this, whatever, but here's a list of things that I would do. I would have loved that as a new coach, looking back on my social media. So.
Okay, guys, we have enough time for about one more question.
I have one more. Can you kind of walk us through the activities that you did at this time last year to leverage the 80-day obsession launch? Because that obviously catapulted you into like major success this year.
Oh my gosh, I don't even remember really what I was doing because I was so overwhelmed, to be honest. Like I think I was starting my second round. Oh, like I made it known that I was going to start my second round in January. So like New Year. So I talked about the New Year a lot. And then oh my gosh, obviously, I made like my sneak peek group, the VIP group, which has been so helpful because I have never made a new one since a new program has come out. So there's like 1,800 people in there. And so anytime a new program comes out, I just change the banner so that they know a new program is coming out. And they're like, okay, cool, what's this one about? And then I'll talk about that program for as long as I want in the group. And like post transformations of people and testimonials and, you know, go live. When I was doing 80-day in the test group, I would go live and like show moves from the workout, you know, share meals I was eating. And so it was just more intimate and it wasn't, there's people that see stuff in there that they don't see on Instagram stories. And so that group has been awesome. So like I'll even go in there when like I do a sneak peek and like throw the link in there, because there's a lot of people in there. But I feel like that's about all. I think I was just really hyping up my January group, and I don't really know what else. I'm really sorry. I'm really trying to remember where I was at, but that's all a blur to me. It was crazy.
Is that group of yours just customers?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I do have some of my people that set up as coaches that are in there too, but now that coaches can buy challenge packs, that's not a bad thing to have. I'm having a lot of coaches buy challenge packs today that are in that group, or even discount coaches. So it's pretty cool.
I love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, God, thank you so much, Emily. I know you're super, super busy, so we appreciate you taking some time with us.
I'm sorry for being late.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Get back to moving and baby making, growing a baby, I guess. That's what it is. No, we appreciate it. Okay, guys, I'll see you guys next week. Let me know if you need anything. Happy launch day. Bye.